My bedtime,
and I was asleep. Basically.
my bedtime started at 10:11.
Right in.
Yeah, 36
I was more
years.
than asleep.
You're a nest
But
top.
you know that
Yes, the time.
Yeah, right, yeah,
But I had my
shouldn't
doctor
run.
present.
That's
Without
right.
attempting to be a write-in candidate?
yeah.
I haven't had no.
It was a great party, God.
Well, it's hard.
I don't remember much of it.
Oh, yeah, I mean, because I worked nights.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know,
Because the
I got to start at midnight, you just got started.
Yeah.
Now it's, I'm
I'm in
already
bed at 9
finished.
o'clock now. Yeah. I still have to get up early. and
two,
see
3
patients.
months.
I gotta, now.
Why in the hell did I
Till
run?
midnight.
No, well, I wake up now at 7.
Oh, yeah.
Do you?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I can still sleep in. I didn't have the alarm.
So did you wind up actually,
No, I don't even set
Get
the
her
alarm
done,
unless I have a meeting.
Christine, so I can get out of here. I got a place to
set the alarm
go.
for 6:30, otherwise I'm going to sleep.
Oh, my neighbor.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is
We'll be
6
leaving in the morning.
p.m. and I'm going to call the meeting to order. If we could please all rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
One
one
nation,
nation, under God,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Lathrop,
Yes.
Lemkool,
Here,
Wheelock, is excused,
excused,
Thomas,
Yep.
Inman,
excused.
Rennie,
How do you get excused? Just ask. Yeah,
Me too.
excused. No,
Rennie,
need you. Present.
Max Bauer.
Here. This is our first opportunity, approval of the minutes. I would entertain a motion.
Madam President, I make a motion that we approve the October minutes, regular session.
Is there support?
Yes.
Moved by Dr. Lathrop, supported by Commissioner Lemkool to approve the minutes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carries. Your turn, Lana.
All right. Public comment. Any person shall be permitted to address a meeting of the Board of Commissioners which is required to be open to the public under the provision of the Michigan Open Meetings Act. Public comment shall be carried out in accordance with the following board rules and procedures. Any person wishing to address the board shall state his or her name and address. No person shall be allowed to speak more than once on the same matter, excluding time needed to answer commissioners' questions, if any. The chairperson shall control the amount of time each person shall be allowed to speak, which shall not exceed 3 minutes. The chairperson may, at his or her discretion, extend the amount of time any person is allowed to speak. Public comment will be solicited during the 2 public comment periods noted in Rule 5.4 Order of Business. However, public comment will generally be received at any time during the meeting regarding a specific topic currently under discussion by the board. Members of the public wishing to comment should raise their hand or pass a note to the clerk in order to be recognized and shall not address the board until called upon by the chairperson.
At this time, I would ask if there is any public comment.
Hi, my name is Carol Crawford. I am a County Commissioner-elect for District 6. I have been attending these meetings for the past several months in an effort to learn as much as I can before taking office in January. I learned a valuable lesson last Wednesday. I made public comments and then was told to keep future comments to myself. That was so contrary to the spirit of the Open Meetings Act that I was simply stunned. It was inappropriate, and I was personally offended. This is a hard job and a heavy load of responsibility. I will listen to and consider all the comments, suggestions, and opinions brought to me when making these tough decisions. I will never attempt to silence a citizen. Thank you.
Anyone else? Seeing none, I would ask us to move on to approval of the agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda. Moved by Commissioner Thomas, supported by Dr. Lathrop. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. Consent calendar. Lana, your turn.
The purpose of the consent calendar is to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with by one commission motion without discussion. Any member of the commission, staff, or public may ask that any item on the consent calendar be removed and placed elsewhere on the agenda for full discussion. Such request will be automatically respected. If any item is not removed from the consent calendar, the action noted, receive and file or approval, is approved by a single committee action adopting the consent calendar. A, receive and file. 1, Commission on Aging Monthly Program Report for September and non-action items. 2, Community Corrections Report for August and September. B, approval. 1, National Home Care Month Resolution for immediate approval. Number 2, Personal Emergency Response Unit Contract with Guardian Medical Monitoring. 3, Area Agency on Aging Provider Agreement, fiscal year 2015-2016 for immediate approval. 4, Home Chore Snow Removal Voucher Vendor Agreements for immediate approval. 5, Non-Community Public Drinking Water Supply Contract with MDEQ, Grand Traverse County Health Department. 6, Life and Disability Benefits Policies with Lincoln Financial. 7, Jail Inmate Program Treatment Services Contract with Nexus Family Services. 8, Radio Service and Maintenance Agreement with Telrad.
Would any member of the public like any item removed from the consent calendar? Georgia?
I just want to read the resolution on National Home Care Month.
Just-
All righty.
I was gonna pull it, too.
B number 1, I'm sorry, B1. Any member of the board?
Number 7.
Number 7. All right.
B7?
B7, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar as amended.
So move.
Support.
All right, moved by Dr. Lathrop, supported by Commissioner Lemkool. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries. All right. B1, Georgia, you're up.
Georgia Durga, Director, Grand Traverse County Commission on Aging. And November is National Home Care Month, and as you know, we have probably over 30 home care employees, and I wanted to recognize them during National Home Care Month. So we prepared a resolution, and I'd like to read it. It says, whereas the Grand Traverse County Commission on Aging provides services to over 1,500 senior citizens in Grand Traverse County, and whereas a majority of these senior citizens receive these services at their home, and whereas these services are provided by trained, qualified, and caring staff members of the Commission on Aging, and whereas staff members visit our senior citizen clients on a weekly or biweekly basis to provide services and assure their safety and well-being, including saving lives, whereas staff members go above and beyond what they are hired to do to improve the quality of life for resident senior citizens. Now, therefore, Chairperson Herb Lemkool, I hope, does hereby proclaim November 2014 National Home Care Month and call upon all citizens of Grand Traverse County to recognize the special contributions our home care employees make to the lives of Grand Traverse County senior citizens. And I would like to add, I can't say enough good about our employees. You couldn't order employees like we have. They're fabulous, and they do things that would just amaze you. I can't even tell you how wonderful they are. So thank you for letting me read this.
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Support.
All right.
I also have a question or a comment.
Moved by Commissioner Lemkool, supported by Commissioner Thomas. And Georgia, apparently Commissioner Lemkool has a question.
No, it's not a question. It's just a comment.
Oh, sorry.
I think that each one of the home care workers should get a copy of this, but I also think that it should be a copy that they can hand out to each of their clients, so that they might be able to be recognized for the services they give to our community. So that was the only reason I wanted to pull it, is to make sure that you were going to give a copy to each one of the workers, but also to the clients. Okay.
Well, I want to add just one more thing as long as I can, and since I'm chair, I can. This is top down, and Georgia deserves credit, as does her staff, Laura and Jill. They really go above and beyond, and so, all right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye. This is
Opposed?
for immediate approval, I do believe.
Do we have to do roll call?
No, we don't, do we? No, we don't.
but I just want to make sure it goes in the minutes, it's for immediate approval.
Okay, it wasn't stated that way, but we...
Yeah.
All right. Next, the jail inmate program treatment services contract with Nexus Family Services. Commissioner Lemkool, that was you.
Yeah, the reason I pulled that is because there's an article in the Record Eagle this last couple of days about how I thought that we might be able to charge the mental health for this. And I've had a couple of good conversations with Greg Pathhouse and with Captain Bob Hall, and this is not anything to do with mental illness, and but it has generated a lot of discussion about some of the services that we are getting from mental health in our community. But I really think that this is a good service, and we ought to continue doing it. So I'll make a motion to approve it, but I wanted to recognize the fact that I've had a couple of good conversations with the people that do provide these services.
All right, is there support? There is support from Commissioner Rennie. Captain Hall, you're up there. It's your turn. Go.
Okay. Commissioner Lemkool is right. I'm Captain Bob Hall. I'm the jail administrator. This has absolutely nothing to do with our mental health services that we receive or don't receive in the Grand Traverse County Jail. This is a program that's been in existence since 1997 or 98, originally through ATS, and then in 2002 we came to the board and the contract was awarded to Nexus, Dr. Hexum's group, and it's been with them ever since. Every 3 years we go out for competitive bids, which we did again this year. The contract expires December 31st. We received 2 vendors. We advertised in the Record Eagle on 2 different occasions, and 2 vendors indicated that they were interested and they submitted proposals. And after reviewing all of the proposals, we recommended that we stay with Nexus Family Services for another 3 years. I gave you a outline of what the program is. It's basically it's a 2-pronged approach to the inmates. A substance abuse, dealing with alcohol and drug addiction. The other one is a life skills, dealing with family issues, dealing with anger management, budgets, how to create a budget and live within a budget in a family. A lot of re-entry, what they're going to do when they get back out into the community. And this Nexus was $5 an hour cheaper than the other bid anyway, and the other proposal didn't even begin to address some of the issues we needed. So we are requesting that the Board of Commissioners authorize us to renew a contract with Nexus for 3 years, starting January 1 of 2015 and ending December 31st of 2017. The money is in next year's budget, assuming the budget is approved.
Any questions for Captain Hall?
How many people have you affected with this contract, and what kind of results have you been getting?
Well, it's hard to measure the results, Commissioner. They have a program that runs 8 to 12 weeks, I believe, and some of the inmates are in there for the first 2, 3, 4 sessions and they're gone. And new ones are coming in all the time, but you can drop in at any time and continue the program. Each day is a standalone. On the life skills, each day is a different topic, so again, they can pick up the different topics each time. I didn't look at the numbers, but they're averaging probably 20 students or participants per session twice a week over the course of the year. So it's hard to measure the effectiveness.
Can the inmates pick this up after they've released from jail?
Yes. Yes.
Perfect.
Nexus has the program continuation in both the substance abuse and the life skills.
Perfect.
All right. Commissioner Rennie?
The important thing to note here is substance use disorder is not a function of Northern Lakes Community Mental Health. And this newspaper article was, I thought, a little misleading, actually. It kind of mixed apples and oranges, and this is an entirely different thing.
Yes, it is.
I just want the public to understand that.
All right. Okay. We have a motion for approval. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. We have no special orders of business. We've already addressed items removed from the consent calendar. Next is department and other action items. Health Department, Wendy. Welcome.
So this is just a follow-up to previous meetings on the establishment of the Regional Medical Examiner's Office, just a few more housekeeping things.
All right.
From the administrative perspective, so tonight I need you to appoint Dr. Fliss as the actual medical examiner. She previously was appointed as the deputy medical
Right.
examiner. Each of the counties have to appoint her, and that's per the state statute, and I think Bob would agree with that based on a previous review of the statutes by Al Schneider and Bob as well. So just asking that she is appointed for the remainder of the 4-year term that Dr. Houghton was appointed to.
All right.
Motion to approve.
Effective
Make it
November
immediate.
1st. Yeah, immediate if possible.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Lemkool, supported by Dr. Lathrop. Discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries, and that is for immediate approval.
Thank you. We do not
Same
need...
thing with the next item with the new classification
Well,
pay scale?
let's let Wendy speak so that,
Oh,
so that the public knows what we're doing here.
Jen Seaman, Human Resources Director. This one is for our medical examiner to add her to the county's add the position, I should say, to the county's classification plan.
All right.
motion to approve and for immediate approval.
Yes, please.
Moved by Commissioner Lemkool, supported by Dr. Lathrop. Discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carries.
And the next one is the same thing. This is for the senior forensic investigator that will be now, it is actually a new county position that needs to be added to our classification plan.
Motion to approve and make it immediate.
Moved by Commissioner Lemkool, supported by Dr. Lathrop. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right. Grand Traverse County Sheriff's Department, replacement of inmate transport Suburban. Captain Hall, welcome back.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be back. The Corrections Division has 2 vehicles that we use to transport inmates all over the state for various purposes, whether it's to other facilities, hospitals, doctor appointments, to prison, pick up inmates that are arrested downstate on our warrants and bring them back to our jail. The primary larger vehicle we have is a 2007 GMC Savannah van that has a module that slides in that actually has 3 separated compartments. We can transport up to 11 individuals, keep males separate from females, juveniles separate from the adults, and so on. It's a pretty fancy van. That vehicle has over 275,000 miles on it, but it's still looking good, still running good. We put, if you recall back a couple years ago, we put a new engine and transmission in it. It was starting to burn oil, and we thought since the body was in great shape, it was worth the $11,000 we put into instead of a new van.
Yeah.
So we did that, and the vehicle is still running well. The other vehicle, however, is a 2003 Chevy four-wheel drive Suburban. It's an off-the-lot Suburban. That vehicle has in excess of 215,000 miles on it, and it's on the road almost as often as the large vehicle because we get pickups in several different directions in the UP all the way down to Detroit. This vehicle's starting to rust out quite a bit, and we're starting to have problems with it. It's burning oil. It was just into the shop yesterday, and we got it back for wheel bearings that went out. It's starting to nickel and dime us. It's starting to $1 and $5 us, not nickel and dime us. We would like to replace that. We originally had it in the 2015 budget to replace that one.
Yeah.
But in an effort to try to reduce next year's budget, I met with Finance Director, Mr. Pott, and we've identified funds in our existing 2014 budget. We could get it now, and we pulled it out of 2015's budget. It's not in there. What we did is we mailed RFPs, requests for bids, out to several vendors, advertised in the Record Eagle on 2 separate occasions, and we also used the new MITN online vendor system. We sent requests out to 57 different dealers all over the state. As a result, we received 3 bids. Signature Ford for a Ford Expedition, the extended length Expedition. Berger Chevrolet out of Grand Rapids for a Chevrolet Suburban, and Bill Marsh Automotive Group for a GMC Yukon XL. I gave you a list of all the comparisons that we did as far as sizes, and I think you'll see that sizes, fuel, gas mileage, height, cargo area, everything's really close. I mean, all three vehicles are pretty much the same size. When we compared them all, we determined that the only thing that we can really see that's different is our history with the vehicles. We've had Expeditions in our department. The Road Patrol used Expeditions quite extensively, and we've had the Chevy Suburban. If you recall, the Sheriff's Department came back here within the last couple of years, and they've migrated away from the Ford Expedition to GM products because of all the problems they had. I listed some of the issues. They've had electrical issues, engine problems, intake manifold. I mean, it's just been nonstop with the Expedition. Our history with the Chevy Suburban stands on its own. It's lasted us several years, 12 years now, and it's got over 215,000 miles. As a result, we believe that we're recommending the 2015 Chevy Suburban for our replacement vehicle. And the reason we chose to do the Suburban prior to the van is because of the existing condition of the Suburban versus the van. We believe that we can get at least, once we get the Suburban changed, we can get another year or more, hopefully, out of the van before we have to replace it. And it'll probably appear in the 2016 budget request. And it takes a lot longer to change out the van with that module. We got to disassemble it completely, reassemble it in the new one. There's a lot of setup. It'll probably take a good 2-3 months to change it over. Whereas the Suburban, we can change over in a matter of just a couple weeks. I'm sure we'll switch. Everybody's going to want to switch to driving the Suburban if we get the Suburban, and that'll help reduce some of the pressure on the van. The Suburban will be the first line out, and if we can replace that in 2016, we'll have two really good vehicles to last well beyond my career. So we are asking the Board of Commissioners to award the inmate transport vehicle bid to Berger Chevrolet in the amount of $37,417, and we're asking this to take immediate effect so we can order it and get it here before the end of the year.
I would entertain that motion. Motion made by Commissioner Thomas. Is there support? Supported by Dr. Lathrop. Discussion? Commissioner Lemkool.
You don't tell us whether or not it's two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive?
Four-wheel drive.
Okay,
I think I
you
put
had both in there, but I didn't see where you were recommending the four-wheel drive on that. The write-up part does. That's about all.
Yeah, it's a four-wheel drive.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
So,
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carries.
Thank you.
All right.
Yep.
Next.
Immediate approval?
yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Next, administration, proposed central records agreement.
Okay, you have before you a new agreement that we are proposing to send to the city for our central records. As you know, the county and the city both inhabit the county's building on Woodmere, and they share a lot of services, not only the building, but they also share central records. We do all their typing for them, and we also do FOIA requests, and we process those things. We take care of the people that walk into the building, and the Central Records Department are the people that actually say, what can I do for you, and deal with whatever issue they may have. They answer the phones. So at any rate, we reviewed the previous Central Records agreement. It had a pretty complicated formula in it for how they would go about doing that, and it was totally based on the number of records inside the computer system, the numbers of lines of type basically inside the computer system. And you want to help me with the rest of this? Because
You wanna help
Nate
me?
Alger had extended discussions. He conducted most of the negotiations, in fact, all the negotiations, I believe, with the city on how do we come up with the right number for what's your share of this work and what's our share of this work.
Certainly, thank you.
Nate, would you introduce yourself in case someone doesn't know who you are?
I am Nate
Who is
Elgin.
watching television?
I am the Undersheriff of Grand Traverse County Sheriff's Office. Thank you, Mr. Benda. Earlier this year, I was asked to evaluate the records contract as it existed. Captain Hefner, historically Captain Hefner of the City Police Department, and Captain Ailing and I have been talking about this agreement for years. I don't think that the agreement is an accurate grabber of cost, so to speak, of what central records cost the city police. So we looked at it at length, and Mr. Benda is correct. The formula is interesting. It's based on the number of kilobytes in our system multiplied by, or as a percentage of total kilobytes of lines typed. Then they subtract a percentage of the city population. It's divided by 4, and then we get a figure that Mr. Bott gives to us. It's complicated. And it doesn't accurately reflect what we actually do. And do you have Appendix A, by the way, of this contract with you? It's a 2-page appendix that Brenda Miller-Goki, our records manager, typed up. Those are all the services that we provide. I have copies, Dave, if we need to give those.
I don't think it's attached. I don't think it was attached to the packet.
Okay. I wondered about that. This is a 2-page
Said that.
recitation of everything that Records does for both the city and the county, and as you'll see, typing is a very small portion of it. So it doesn't make sense to me to base the funding calculator on the typed word. Ideally, if the city police decided to not type any reports at all, they would not pay for any record services at all. And yet the people are at the front door answering the phones, answering the front door, processing reports, things of that nature. So I talked to Captain Ailing in June and told him that I thought it would be more appropriate if we used the user fee concept. To say that he agreed with that is not necessarily accurate. He understood that. He also understood the implications of that. So we had several discussions about it, and what I'm proposing here through this percentage is I think we need to come up with a user fee per officer for the city police that is not associated with the population adjustment, because honestly the city's population swells every day, and in June I think the city population actually went down according to the Northwest Michigan Council of Governments. It went down to 14,000 something. So that percentage of payment is decreasing while the services remain the same. It doesn't make sense to me. The city police serve a population greater than the city residents, and that population swells every day. So they're typing reports, they're taking phone calls, they're taking accidents in the city, and they're generating work for the records division. So I think it's more appropriate to use a user fee concept, whatever that may be. In the letter to Captain Ailing, I showed you some possible increases in the cost. Those costs could go anywhere from $73,000 to $126,000, depending on the user fee percentage, and that is an annual increase for the city records contract. So to say that the city agrees with this is not at all true. They understand the concept.
All right.
Do you have questions?
No, I'm going to entertain a motion if there is one.
We don't need a motion at this point, I don't think, do we?
Yeah, we're bringing this
We
to you
don't?
to get some direction on whether you want us to kick this bee's nest, because we believe that it's not being done properly. We need to redo this contract. We want to give the city notice that, because the current agreement requires a 120-day notice before you can terminate it, and it has to be 120 days before the beginning of their fiscal year. We would like to get this in place as soon as possible, because we think it's just being charged wrong right now. So that's what we're looking for. We're just kind of looking for direction. Whatever comments from the board that you'd like to give us now, so that we can decide whether you're in favor of us moving forward with this and approaching the city on this subject, or...
Dr. Lathrop.
So what we're trying to do here is to charge them appropriately for the services we're giving them.
Correct.
Okay. And are we going to, by the way, do that with IT too, maybe?
Well, we haven't gotten that far yet, but, each of these projects takes a lot of
Yeah.
time to
I
put together.
personally would like to see you do that, because
We are right now looking also at the
Yeah.
Woodmere and Front Street properties. As you may or may not know, the agreement that we had with them expired, and it's time to do something different. We've talked with the city manager and the mayor, Commissioner Lemkool and I have, and we approached them, we kind of floated to them in an earlier meeting quite a while ago, that we thought it made more sense to rent from each other rather than try to convey portions of our buildings to each other, which was somebody's brainchild many years ago, but we couldn't see the sense in it. It makes much more sense to have a square footage calculation for their building and a square footage calculation for our building and exchange the net rather than, so we're working on that project.
Good.
But the IT piece is pretty complex.
We're
looking
much
at
more than this. I like the idea of looking at this again in a new light, charging the appropriate price.
Commissioner Rennie.
So, you want to approve a go-ahead, which means you can give them the 120-day notice. But
and
what are you going to negotiate for?
well, we're going to send them the proposed agreement, pretty much the letter that's in your packet.
Does the
It'll-
numbers fit?
I'm going to change the
Middle
title
column or the
to
last
Dear
column?
Dear City Manager. It's going to look like this, and this is our proposed agreement. I'm ready to talk about this.
So you're going to base it on police head count? Or what are you going to base it on?
That was the concept. We would use a per user of records. Right now, we estimate that the Sheriff's Department has a potential of 69 users of records, and the city has 34.
Is that the fairest way to look at
30%.
it?
I certainly believe that it is. There are things that the chief does with records. There are things that the sheriff does with records that do not involve typing police reports. They use that time.
So, Dave, you would like a motion to terminate the contract?
No, I want to talk to the city about that.
Before
I
you do
want.
that.
He
Yeah,
wants
I probably
direction.
do.
Right. He's
I
looking
probably
for
do need a
direction.
motion to send that
Move forward.
notice to the city.
So moved.
Support. So-
All right, moved by Commissioner Rennie, supported by Commissioner Lemkool, and Commissioner Rennie, if you would please be so kind as to state your motion.
My motion is to approve the administrator going forward with a proposal to announce at the city that this contract will be terminated in 120 days, and we hope to get a new agreement in place at that time.
All right, and it's supported by Commissioner Lemkool. Discussion.
I think it's important to note that we have a scheduled meeting with the mayor and the city manager coming up next week, Friday. So we have numerous items that we're going to be talking about. And I do believe that we shouldn't be given the 120 days today, but we should let them have it before that, because they're going to put it in their budget. This is a sizable amount of change.
Well, this is the middle of their fiscal
And
year,
it's in the
too.
middle of the fiscal year, too. So we got to be able to come up with the best way for them to be able to absorb this and for us to be able to make sure it happens. And then, they may say, well, we'd like to implement it in 2 years rather than 1 year,
Or July 1st.
or July 1st. We want to do that. So we want to give them those options to be able to put this together before we start doing the hard stuff to be able to make that happen, I think.
Well, I also wanted you to note in the letter that I sent you that we intend to make it a calendar year agreement, so that because we're the records that, the financial records that we have to rely upon to reconcile this at the end of a year. If they're going to pay us 30% of budget and then it turns out we spend $100,000 less, well, they're going to get $30,000 less, back, and it's going to go against the next year's contract. All that has to happen on a calendar year for us. Otherwise, we're creating a monstrous amount of work to try and reconcile.
If we don't announce the 120-day thing, are they going to negotiate seriously?
Well, I think that's a good point.
That's a great point.
All right, I'm not supporting this motion, and I'm going to tell you why. The city of Traverse City pays 3 times the taxes of any township in Grand Traverse County. And they certainly pay their fair share for police services. And if the city of Traverse City chose tomorrow to eliminate their police force, which they could do, and turn it over to the sheriff's office, the burden on Grand Traverse County taxpayers would be astronomical. And quite honestly, as a representative of citizens who reside in the city of Traverse City, Dave, I hear you on the IT, I hear you on the buildings, I hear you on everything else, but I simply don't hear you on the records agreement item for that reason. If somebody can give me an argument why I should support, singling out the city while I don't single out Kingsley, while I don't single out Fife Lake Village, while I don't single out a township, if you can give me a reason, but I'm not hearing one. And keep in mind, I represent city taxpayers.
I understand.
So I'm not voting for this. If there's any other discussion, I'm willing to hear it. Commissioner Lemkool.
First of all, the city can't get rid of their police department? 'Cause
Yes, they can.
I think that they had a vote that says we have to have a police department.
No.
Same thing with the fire department. I think that they have
a charter
to provide that
provision.
service. Pardon?
It's a charter provision, and it's in
I think
that
it's a charter.
study that I sent you.
They
That they have
need,
to have a police department.
no,
So,
they need one.
No,
well.
that's true.
That's true.
They need one. They don't have to do this.
Yeah.
They do this because safety is important to city residents.
But I do think they should.
And I agree. I mean, I'm right up there with, I want to be able to live in my neighborhood safely. I do. But for that reason, I'm not going to support it, and chances are I'm going to be outvoted. So, okay, let's do a roll call.
Lemkool.
Motion again.
You made the motion.
Read it again anyway.
Lana?
Motion is to approve for the administrator to go forward with the 120-day termination of a contract with the city.
All right.
1, 2.
Lemkool.
And he didn't you also put
Yeah, the proposed
120
agreement.
days notice, 120-day notice?
Right, the 120-day notice.
All right.
Vote.
Lemkool.
Yes.
Thomas.
Yep.
Rennie.
Yeah.
Lathrop.
Yes.
Max Bauer.
No. Motion passes. We have no unfinished business. We don't have any new business. This is our second opportunity for public comment. Anyone? All right. Notices, I'm sorry, Commissioner Committee reports.
Yeah, I handed out postcards to all the commissioners on Northern Nexus. So this is one of the committees that I sit on and Dave sits on. And so we'd like you to hand these out to as many businesses that you possibly can. We've already had 2 successful businesses go through this. John Syke is working on that extremely hard on making that. So this is just an information card that talks about what Northern Nexus is and what it can do for our community. It's one of those economic development tools that we have that makes it work for our community. So I just wanted everybody to have a copy of that. And they do have a website, and you go on the website, and on that website gives all of our agendas and our minutes. So you can go in there and pull that up, and also any information that you might want.
All right. And we had a Commission on Aging meeting yesterday, and I would like to announce that Rodetta Herond was appointed next year's chair.
Oh.
And she will, I believe, be excellent. All right, notices and/or announcements. All right, I'm not seeing any. But I would like to say something to people who may be missing Commissioner Inman today. He called me this afternoon and he said, Chris, if you really need me to be there, I'll be there. Commissioner Inman, Representative-elect Inman, was up until 3:30 last night due to election returns, and he got up at 5:30 this morning. And quite honestly, I told him, I said, Larry, I said, take a nap. He has an 8 o'clock meeting tomorrow. I said, get some rest. I think we can live without you, this one meeting. So in case anyone's wondering where he is, he's napping. All right.
He's showing his age.
Well, he certainly didn't show it last night.
Oh, I'm sure he
But-
did. He'll do really well for us.
Yes, he will.
Yeah.
I did talk to him and said, no unfunded mandates down to the county.
You better believe it.
And he promised me that he wouldn't do that. All right. Do we have a need for a closed session?
No, we do not.
We do not.
We do have a budget meeting Monday at 1
Monday
o'clock.
at 1.
I'll be here.
Good,
All
thank
right.
you.
What time is it?
So, 1
I would
o'clock.
entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Moved by Dr. Lathrop. I'll support it, just for fun. We're done.